Greetings, citizens from the rolling hills of the bluegrass. It would be silly to say, oh, well, did you all know that we're in the middle of an election cycle? Right? It's hard not to know that we are. And like a lot of you probably are getting now, I'm standing here and I'm thumbing through, and you can probably hear the papers moving maybe. You're looking at, the advertisements for Amy McGrath, Mitch McConnell, and you have the 36 years Mitch has built the Congress you despise, or 2 terms, 12 years, that's it. So you have this advocating of term limits by McGrath. I can get behind that. But you also have Mr. Brad Barron, the Libertarian. Now I want you to kind of come with me for a second here, because I believe, with all my railings against Europe, that the Swiss about have it right. Leave people alone. Take care of your people. And work together internally. Now, there's a lot of things about the Swiss that I'm not, the modern Swiss, that I'm not 100% on. But that's their country. They can do what they want. But it's that idea that the Swiss are self-sustaining without being completely influenced by everyone around them. And that's precisely one of the reasons why the Swiss became the Swiss. And why, in a lot of instances, the founders of this country viewed the Swiss as a model for certain elements. And in my heart of hearts, I would like to see Kentucky kind of become the Switzerland of the United States. That would be one of my goals, because we have plenty of farmland. We're still very agrarian, very rural. Outside of the large cities, you have agribusiness, big farms, big agri. But you still have a lot of small family farms, and that's where Mr. Barron comes in here. And he's running as a Libertarian for the U.S. Senate, and it's really wonderful that he's in there. And last election cycle, 2016, I think I saw the most amount of Libertarians I've ever seen, because there was at least one in every category that we voted on. And this election cycle around, the same thing has happened, and that's great. And it's one of the reasons why it took me so long to actually switch party affiliations, because Kentucky's a closed system. So if I wanted to vote for Rand Paul, I would have to be a Republican in order to make sure he made it through the Republican part of the primary. When it comes to the general election, I can vote for whoever I want, but if I wanted to make sure that Rand stayed in, I'd have to be a Republican. Well, when it comes time for him to be, I guess, elected again, I'm not going to have that chance, because I switched my party affiliation. And Mr. Barron here is going to be my go-to person. But let's be really honest. I got these flyers, and I got this really nice book about Mr. Barron explaining, how he's a farmer, how he's a family man. He even says that he's a conservative libertarian. I'm not really sure I like the choice of the conservative part, but it's probably more of a political choice than anything else. And the question becomes, why am I just now getting these flyers? I have 5 of them in my hands right now. Why am I getting these 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out from the election. I know money is a problem, and that's probably the major reason why I'm just now getting these. But this should have been happening in May. Or heck, January. This is part of the problem with the Libertarian Party, and I don't understand how, being the third largest party in the country, they are so late to the dance. Every time there's that idea of being fashionably late. But even being fashionably late means you're still being late. So I'm glad Mr. Barron's there. I've done the early voting. I've casted my ballot for him. But why now? There is no impact in this. So while I appreciate everything that's in these flyers, sir, we're just slow on the get out. We have to do this faster. We've got to be in the running. We're sauntering when we should be in a dead sprint. And this is why we get marginalized outside of the crazy stuff that occurs in the Libertarian Party. This right here. Because people do not realize they have an option beside the reds and the blues. Right? There is a third option with libertarianism, and it's here, but you've got to get out there faster. Where are his videos on the other website? Right? There should be tons of videos, because all it would take is you sitting down with a microphone like this and talking. You don't need to interview anyone, just 5-minute video. This is what I believe. Pick a subject, this is the video, boom, 5 minutes. Here's what I believe. It's what everyone does. It's the whole point of this democratization of the media. You do not need them. And the flyers are wonderful. But this microphone costs $60. You could have campaign ads right now on the other website, here on BitChute. But you got to do it. Where are we? There are plenty of libertarian thinkers that would probably want to sit down with you. Where are you? And you don't have to go on the big ones. You don't have to hit Joe Rogan. There are plenty of smaller, up-and-coming people that would love to talk to you about this kind of stuff. And it would get you out there. But instead, the flyers go out 3 weeks in a contentious race between Mitch McConnell and Amy McGrath, and you're trying to get a seat at the table. You're trying to elbow your way in. It's too late. This cycle. McConnell cannot be defeated this way. You're going to have to defeat McConnell. The Republicans are going to have to defeat McConnell in the Republican primary. And until he retires, I don't really see that occurring. I do not see a Republican coming up and really challenging him. People understand how powerful Mitch McConnell is, but those of you who are not from the Commonwealth just see Mitch McConnell, the elegant chess player, political chess player. That's what you see. But here in the Commonwealth, we really don't like him. Right? Ditch Mitch didn't start as a Republican or sorry, as a Democrat, slogan. It came internally from the more libertarian-minded Republicans because we were trying to get rid of him. But that apparatus that he's built up around himself, and that's the problem. And this is where the whole frustration comes in, is because McGrath comes in and she's a Democrat through and through. And she's making me defend Mitch McConnell. Do you know how bad things are when you have to begrudgingly defend the Republican candidate because you fear the Democrat candidate twice as much? And then add the fact that you're a libertarian, and the Libertarian Party is so past the swing that the ball's already in the glove going to first base, to second, to third. And now they're in the Democrats and the Republicans are in scoring position, and the Libertarian is just finishing their follow through on their swing. It's frustrating. And you can say, well, get out there and do something about it. I just might. But this election cycle is already done. We're just waiting for the votes to be tallied. We have got to get moving. We can't do this. So thank you, Mr. Barron. Thank you for running. Thank you for being an option on the ballot. But it's too late. The ship has sailed, the train's out of the station, the horse is out of the barn, whatever you want to call it. It's too late. We've got to be there sooner. Right? Get there firstest with the mostest, if you want to quote somebody. But you got to get there. You can't come late to the dance, because everyone's going to have a partner.